talk about the Black Slim Shady.
Go ahead. No, Mike.
What were your thoughts on the record? I want you to go first.
No, I'm gonna get some of this spam out of the chat while you go, Mike. Ridiculous.
I don't know where to start. First of all right, this is where I'm gonna start. Our first listen, actually our first couple listens, because I listened to the song about.
You listened to this song.
I listened to this 10-minute song about 4 times.
Mike, you spent an hour of your life listening to this song.
I did.
That's very problematic.
I did. And so our first listen, I gave it a B+. After listening to it today,
no more spam at the chat.
After listening to it today, I'm giving it an A. Jay Short with the super chat says, I think we would still be waiting on the version of Game to make that classic 15-track album with no skips. We know that he can be scary considering his discography. Definitely. So what, you don't agree with it being a B+ or an A?
Me? You talking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
What? He made a 10-minute diss record where he was emulating it?
Where he what? Well, you know what? All right. You want to start there where he's emulating M?
Let's start right there.
All right. Midget Mike with the super chat says, Funk Flex voices Eminem has 48 hours to respond. Go ahead.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here's exactly how I'm going to phrase this.
Go ahead.
On Illmatic, I tell you, Nas is great as on Illmatic because, well, he doesn't just pull from Rock M. He pulls from Cool G Rap. And imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Is he not imitating this man?
He is. But you know why he is?
It's always been...
No.
Please clarify. Please clarify for me.
Well,
for somebody that's listened to Illmatic since I was a kid and listen and find out... Mike, you know what it's like listening to Illmatic as a kid and then hearing Illmatic as a grown man and be like, man, this nigga sound like G-Rap and Rakim. Go ahead and go.
All right. Well, I think that he took on... I think it was a smart choice. I think it was a smart choice for him to take on Eminem's style lyrically and the production style because he was showing how corny the Eminem style is. And he was also showing in current day he can rap better than Eminem using Eminem's own style. So the first 2 verses, he's building the song, right? And I love how he built this record.
Hold on, I want you to pause right quick. And I'm not saying this to interrupt you. I'm asking this strictly for
clarification. Go ahead. Let's have dialogue.
So you're saying this is not imitation, but mockery.
It is mockery. He's mocking Eminem's style.
This is mockery, not imitation. Do you know this is being taken as imitation because
because people are trying to spin it as that. People are trying to spin it as that.
Okay.
Yeah. People are trying to spin it as that. And the reason why people don't like this, huh?
No, I said I'm just going to be devil's advocate.
No. I love that. Please do. I mean, the reason why people are spinning it this way, because they don't want to face the realities that the reason why they don't like this song is because it actually sounds like the shit that Eminem makes that you don't like. Sonically. So the things that people have a problem with on this song, sonically, are the things that Eminem does. You don't like this song.
Psychological?
You don't like this song because you don't like Eminem's music.
Are you saying this is psychological?
It really is. This is deep, man. The way he took this on, this is Hit Boy on the track, and Game made it clear to say Hit Boy made the track. So he had Hit Boy go out here and make some goofy ass Slim Shady style of beat. People don't like the beat. People don't like the first 2 verses because he was taking on that Slim Shady image and moniker and extra character that Eminem takes on, and he's showing you how goofy this sounds on somebody else. We've always said, would any of the top MCs get away with some of them goofy ass records that Eminem made? He's showing you that we wouldn't. And that's just the first Mike. 2 verses.
No. Shit, Mike. You're on to something.
This was brilliant.
This is... Are you telling me this is rap's first satire diss?
This was brilliant because Eminem spent his whole career.
Satire. This is a satire. No. It's a 10-minute song. If it's what you're saying that it is, it's actually... it's very Shakespearean. It's almost play-like in a satire form.
It is.
Like
And the way that he
it's
involved
a dramedy.
Matthew,
It's a dramedy almost.
and the way that he involved
Very
Matthew with the
Shakespeare-like. I
starter
mean,
hat,
Shakespeare told all that shit,
but the way he involved Matthew with the starter hat and all of those details lets you know this is where he really is coming from with it. And I think that also, I love the way he framed and built the story as to he is holding Matthew hostage and quote unquote holding Haley hostage to bring Eminem out. This is a baiting record. Like, listen, come outside. Come
no.
outside.
Everything Game does is baiting.
Because even
Everything
even
Game
the
does
final even the final line where he's like, "You live in a box" or "Come out your box," whatever he said.
No. I saw
Yeah,
that. So no. So if what you're saying is true, then from a prose standpoint, this is one of the more brilliant diss records ever. If we're just talking about the prose.
especially from a baiting standpoint. Like this ain't even
No,
the
that's part of
haymaker.
the prose.
Yeah,
No, I mean stylistically though, in terms of the format and the approach. If
yeah,
his prose and his objective was to kind of like lure the reader, or in this case the listener, in with the first couple of verses to get your attention, and then to turn it into an actual satire where you are mocking the character that is supposed to be the hero, that is literary devices of the highest order.
you're flipping his
If what you're saying
sonics.
is true, that's literary devices of the highest order.
You're flipping his sonics, showing that the audience really doesn't fuck with this guy's
You're not
music.
just flipping his sonics, you're flipping his literary devices, because what he does well is mock and satire
Exactly.
and have fun and poke. And that's what I mean about how that's the ultimate diss. To take his style and imitation of mockery and actually make a mockery of it.
And that's why he called it the Black Slim Shady, because this is what Eminem does when he's Slim Shady.
Very problematic.
Because he always called his first singles the Slim, he's Slim Shady on, the real Slim Shady, My Name Is, or Without Me. That's the character that goes out there and makes fun of everybody, right? Well, this is the black version of that, and this is what it sounds like in this voice.
And it doesn't sound good. I stand corrected, Mike. He needs to respond.
Mad Max with the super chat says, laughing my ass off. Coop has the take on the Black Slim Shady, but praised Hove for sounding like a fan of Nas on the takeover. Like what? Let me see.
Yeah, I said that's part of what makes the takeover so dope is that he sounds like a fan. No, part of what makes the takeover so great is that somebody as great as him in his prime is approaching it like a fan. There's something that's super humble about that.
Unknown Name says, if the point of the track was to show that if the black dude did M style, it would be whack, then he succeeded. But that's what it is.
Correct. No, that's what I mean. If it's a satire, like think about this. What a writer
does. That's the only way to approach him.
No. But listen, I'm talking about the literary devices of it in terms of how you approach the format as a writer. You're telling me that he is literally writing out the concept of a song. And he is building up to a climax, the way a story is supposed to build. And then at the climax, he hits you with the motif, and the motif is a satire and a mockery when it's really supposed to be in attack mode. And from there, he digresses into his style, which isn't entertaining to you, which leaves you to wonder, well, how is the other guy getting away with it? And he's letting you know, well, he's only getting away with it because he's white.
He said
because
that
when a black guy does it, it doesn't work for you now, does it?
Exactly.
Now, that's fucking brilliant, Mike. He has 48 hours to respond.
DeCarlo with the super chat says, I agree, Mike.
Very
I love it.
I didn't understand that until you broke it down, Mike. I want to thank you.
I still got a lot more to go. I got a lot of notes here.
I want to hear all those notes. This motherfucker needs to respond. Mike, expeditiously. Like he's at Joe Clark's high school, he needs to respond expeditiously.
DeCarlo with the super chat says, I agree, Mike. I love it because he sounds like M. I was literally mad at first, but I had to give him props because he killed that M style. Of course it's
so boring.
Well, that's what M does, and this is what M gets praised for. But he's showing you in this skin it doesn't work.
He's highlighting how if a black man from Compton who raps well takes this same style and utilizes it, it's not going to be entertaining to you, which also...
Or uses this choice of production, too.
Hold on, which brings to the shade of intentionally making this the longest song on the album.
Exactly.
Oh, it's very shady. It's shady how he's behaving, too.
And then throwing Big Sean on the next record.
Oh my, this is better than back to back and added on the psychological level.
It's crazy, man.
It's
Born
crazy.
King says
48 hours. Where Eminem needs to come outside. Mike,
Born
you're right.
King
He needs to come
says.
outside.
Born King says people's
I don't care what
attention
Born King
span.
said. Coop said he needs to come outside. You mean psychologically murdered by the game from Compton? You need to come outside if you're this lyricist. Everybody says that you are.
This shit is
They're
brilliant.
absolutely right.
I'm gonna go deeper.
Bring your ass
I'm
outside.
gonna go deeper. This
I
is
didn't
brilliant.
understand it, Mike. I didn't understand because I'm just thinking. I'm like, why is he doing this? Why is he imitating him? I was like, this shit sounds terrible.
He's showing you how it sounds. For
showing you how it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Very problematic.
Born King
outside.
says people's attention span is short now. Common was the one I remember bringing back the short quality albums would be. Illmatic was criticized for it back in the day. Now everybody uses Nas's playbook. Let's see. Ryan Gillum says, I know Coop did not just bring up Shakespeare.
No, I was doing that to be shady too.
Yeah, I bet.
Shady. This is a shady episode where we're talking about shady. It's very Shakespearean what's going on. All the imitation that's going on without the creativity is very Shakespearean, Mike. Outside of Hamlet.
Katie
We're still
says,
waiting for somebody to respond. I haven't pulled up on Twitter today. We're still waiting for somebody to respond. I don't want to hear that bullshit and I ain't mean it. I don't want to hear that bullshit and I ain't mean it.
Oh, I want to get to the end of this, man. KD says exactly. Game used M's whole shit against him, mocked his flow, style, and used satire against M in the same way M goes at random celebrities.
Those are literary devices, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just using literary devices. He's using literary prose. Do you understand how he's up in the ante? We step up here and we talk about literary devices. Oh, what he just did is prose worthy.
Yeah.
That's what I was just talking about, how Toni Morrison, her prose is there, but the entertainment value is there. Oh, well, this prose is there.
Yeah.
And the entertainment value is taken away from you to accentuate the literary prose and literary devices. That's fucking genius.
Well, see, the whole of this record, right? The purpose was to bring Shady out, right? This is to get Shady to come out the house. So even when he builds that scene with the first two verses, even using Eminem's whole hook rhythm and flow, all that, right? And then he gets to the point where he's in Matthew's Uber or whatever, right? Or Lyft.
That shit's hilarious.
And then he discovers that, okay, this is Matthew. These are the things that you care about. I'm going to hold these things ransom. We're using this to get you out the house. And that last verse, that's where he goes in and starts doing the traditional diss record things. And again, there's a lot of things in there to unpack. Even him saying that he is Aftermath's runaway slave that, you know, they never thought was going to come back.
I heard the whole Aftermath Iveen and like, oh no. I heard Mike, the perspective.
Yeah.
From which...
He's like, I know things. I'm that person in the building that got away and that has a career without the machine. So you don't want it with me.
No. Here's the part that got me. When he talked about being in Detroit and asking him to take him to 8 Mile, but you want to stay in the studio. Outside. Outside. What I be telling you about being outside? You want to know why Coop got all these stories about all these rappers and all these ball players? And I almost had my ass fucking whooped by Charles Oakley and fucking Anthony Mason, God bless it, because my ass be outside. You feel what I'm saying? No. And I just want to say this. I'm going to let you go. In certain spheres, Mike.
Well, that's hip hop. Hip hop is an outside thing.
You can't be inside.
Yeah.
You can't be inside.
Yeah.
You can't be inside. I learned that very, very early on. Like when I used to live on West Boulevard, Mike, I used to have to watch my brothers and sisters a lot. You know what I'm saying? And cats literally used to clown me because I wasn't outside. And it wasn't until I was able to come like outside that I got my respect. Because it's like not even some street shit. It's like, no, nigga, you got to come outside and be who you are first. Like up in that house, up on the hill, it's like we don't know you, Coop. Like you got to
MC Shan say?
You got to come outside and let people know who you are.
What MC Shan say? Hip hop started out in the park.
Out. Hold on, Mike. I mean, we need to be highlighting. I mean, hip hop just celebrated its birthday yesterday.
Yeah, 49 years.
49, right?
Probably even a little longer than that. But as far as like the first documented piece
73 is the first documented the Rec Room. Yeah, 49. We about to be 50 next year.
Shout out to my man Mark, man. He's from that building. He don't live in the building anymore. But yeah, historic shit. But yeah, man.
Okay, so Denim's family. Denim, our new senior writer. Yeah, Denim's family from Bronx. Like that's the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like the stories is crazy. Like even when I used to sit down with them when we were like in our 20s and Denim was like in college and in her teens, like just the random stories that cats will tell you like around that time. Like just sitting around and they'd be like, yeah, I was sitting outside and such pulled up. I'd be like, what the fuck?
I'm going through my notes. I'm sorry. Okay, one of the other things that I gathered from the first part of Game's, I guess, third verse, because you can say the third verse is where the diss record, quote unquote, starts. He's building the story on the first two verses, and when it goes to the Matthew thing after that, this is where the diss record kind of starts, right? So I think one of the first things that I felt from this part was when he was talking about the support that Eminem's been able to get from Dr. Dre his whole career, whereas he had to go out there and do Doctor's Advocate on his own. And so I went back and did a little bit of research. Dr. Dre executive produced, so Eminem has 11 albums, right? And they're counting Infinite in this 11. Game has 11 albums now, counting this one.
Oh.
Every single one of Eminem's albums outside of Infinite and Kamikaze, Dr. Dre was the executive producer of.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so Game is basically saying this guy was going through, what he was going through with the narcotic and all of those things, and he still got your support. And I'm sitting here bringing you records, and why don't I get that? And I'm sitting here having to make Doctor's Advocate on my own. Is it because I'm not fitting the complexion for the connection, whatever?
Can we just say this? We all love Dr. Dre and hip hop, but he's a yes man.
Well, he tied Dr. Dre up in this song too.
We need to stop sugarcoating it, and it's like stop hiding from it. He's a yes man. He belongs to the machine. He's part of why the machine exists. I always told people like the In the Club video is like the realest rap video ever. Because it really lets you know that if you ever felt like that the machine didn't exist and that it wasn't real, they showed you that the machine exists. Well, the machine is real.
To piggyback off of what you just said, the Game also said on this record that Dr. Dre is silent. And he said Dr. Dre will be silent. Now, he also put the caveat out there.
He's got so much money tied up in Jimmy Iovine, like he can't even afford to speak. And there's something about that doesn't speak to freedom as a black man. I'm sorry. When your best friend and your business partner is a Jewish man, and you're looked at like it's just not going to work at the end of the day, Mike. And so the shit that's what I'm saying. Well, it's like if you want to look psychologically what Game is saying, it's not going to work.
It's working
because
for
here's
him,
the thing about it. Like a lot of people are like, well, Jews and blacks have like a special relationship, and yes, the relationship mostly involves with the Jewish making the money off the black and not the other way around. And that's part of why the Jewish are okay with the relationship so much, and the blacks need to be auditing the relationship with everybody better.
And make it where it works for everybody. What I was gonna say though, to piggyback off of that, I love what Game did on here by basically giving Royce props, basically saying that M bites Royce. And he also pulled a little B Rabbit from 8 Mile where he already put the butterfly tattoo thing out there. He also put the change of heart out there. So it's like, what are you going to say next? And he also put it out there like, is 50 going to write your rhyme? So nobody else can respond. He's going to have to respond.
I want you to listen to this. Like somebody in our chat literally just said, tread lightly, Coop. That's how fragile that relationship is. It's like you got to watch how you talk about it when you're doing a YouTube show and you don't know these motherfuckers. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's part of what Game's talking about. That's why I'm like, no, Mike, if you're talking like that, well, then fucking run it. Because what he's really speaking to isn't just a rap diss. He's talking to the systemic and racist and institutional oppression that is going on for artists in the music business to this day, and he's using Dr. Dre and Eminem and Interscope as an example.
He is.
And we need not ignore that. And we need not ignore that. So what I'm not about to do is tread lightly. What I'm about to tell you is that Dr. Dre need to say something. Eminem need to make a fucking great rap diss record to come back with this, or we're going to start giving them the smoke that I've been giving Lupe.
But see what they're trying to do.
I agree with him. I don't like the whole Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine shit. I respect it. I understand musically and artistically what is good, but I don't like the shit. Like, it don't feel good in my stomach.
I think what is happening online and what I'm seeing online,
A lot of sucker shit being going
people are
on.
trying their best to disregard this record so M doesn't respond. But no, this is a very response-worthy record. Don't act like this record is trash. And like I said earlier, I'm seeing a lot of these posts, people talking like, "Oh, MGK's Rap Devil sounds better now." Don't try to elevate that record now. This record is much better and is much deeper. Mad Max to the super chat says,
Listen to what Great 88 said. He's like, you're right. I don't want you to all get flagged for anti-Semitism.
and you know
Because the
what?
Jewish community runs so many documents and so many things financially. It's like, well, if you say anything against them, it's like you're going down. It's like, well, you want to know what? It's like,
Well, you don't even have to say
me.
anything against. Just, I mean, it could even be positive. You know what
Well,
I mean?
how about this? How about I'm going to tell the truth, and if you don't like it, fuck you. So that's how that goes. That's how that goes over here. If you
Mad
don't
Max
like
with the
it,
super chat says, mocking White Roy style. Mocking White Roy style rapping, forever calling him Karen, saying Sean's the top rapper in Detroit, calling him a White Royce, flipping all his songs. Let's see, we got Trey Mo says, Mike, your breakdown is on point. But
it is.
I do like him too, though. And that's cool.
Point,
but
Mike.
he needs to respond. Let me get to some of these other super chats, and I'm gonna go in a little bit more.
Before you go, I need to say this.
What's that?
Because this needs to make the chat. A lot of people feel like your takes on Eminem have not been fair and that it's personal.
It's not
this
right.
is no. This is Mike. This take that you are making, it's very astute. It's verifiable. There's all sorts of evidence around it. You are not just talking from a personal level. No, this shit is real. It needs to be addressed. This is a great statement of sentiment by you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Uncle Fran with the super chat says, now you see all the good is to go beyond the surface level. Excellent breakdown of this diss record. I appreciate it. We're not done, though. It's a lot in this one. It's a lot to unpack. DeCarlo says, Mike, what if
Mike, I'm excited. I'm like, oh, what else you got, Mike? Go ahead.
DeCarlo says, Mike, what if Eminem responds with a better diss record? Then I feel like that's when Game is going to turn into the game and actually hit him with a real shot. This is a baiting record. That's what makes this so dope, too. He framed all of this just to get you to come outside.
This is psychological.
Yeah. And this is like, psychological. You remember when Show Enough went in the pizza shop and trashed Bruce Leroy's parents' pizza shop and threw his brother in the trash? He was like, now you gotta fight me. That's what this is.
Right. You're gonna come out. You're gonna bring your ass out in this alley. You're coming out of this alley. You come out of this alley.
He used all the elements that traditionally make Eminem respond, right? Like when what did he say with the Ja Rule thing? When Ja Rule brought Haley in it, he was like, I gotta respond. I lost it, whatever. And Game is trying to hit all of those pressure points.
Yeah, he's making sure.
And I honestly think that's why in the song he killed Matthew, because he was like, you don't care about your fans anyway. But I'm going to hold for ransom something you really do care about, metaphorically. Come outside.
Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
And you've highlighted this before. Well, the one time Dr. Dre tried to semi-have a message and kind of like work with Nas and kind of like do that whole aftermath thing, kind of backfired in his face. And ever since then, the messages that he disseminates through his music, although the music be legendary, is the sentiment positive? Is it progressive towards our culture? Like, do I think Doggy Style is better than the Low End Theory? Yes. Do I think it's better for our people?
No. Yeah, no. Two different
No, motherfucker. Like, there's a difference between what you hear and what you like and what's best for you. And so Game is speaking to a lot of things right now, Mike. This is astute by you. This is some of your best journalists.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, it is, because you're speaking to something that's kind of like unpacking the sentiment.
Because like, it's easy for people to ignore, right? People will see a 10-minute long record and they'll be like, oh man, that's some garbage. Or hear the first, right. And people have such a short attention span now. They'll hear the first verse or hear the beat, which again is intentional, and just totally dismiss it or find a way to dismiss it.
I had to listen to it in 2 parts.
He needed 10 minutes to frame all of these things.
I had to listen to it in two parts, Mike, and I had to go back over stuff because I'm like, what is he doing? But now when you're doing this, it's like, no, that all makes sense now. It's like it's actually pretty.
And when you
It's
said that I spent the hour listening to it, listening to that song and the way he framed it, it doesn't feel like it's 10 minutes to me.
I'm different, Mike. After 3 minutes of 30 seconds of almost like anything, with the exception about 5 or 6 things, including being on the phone with a human being, I'm like,
Because it's a
so
lot of things that I felt
where is
like.
this going? You got 3 minutes with Coop on anything in life. Like, it's like, what is this doing? Where are we going? Are we elevating?
I think
Let's
that
continue.
I'm similar to that too, but this one piqued my interest because there was some things that I felt like I missed. Like today, listening to it, I didn't hear the plastic surgery line. I was like, oh shit, did he just allude to the fact that Eminem got a facelift? And when you look at Eminem a few years ago, you remember he was looking really wrinkled and blonde and stuff, and now he got the beard and all that. I like there could be some validity to that. LP
He's
with
not.
the
It's not. It's not like he's far from the reservation, Mike.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so important, that line where he was talking about him being Aftermath's runaway slave that actually
No,
came back to
no.
haunt them.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying, and you're gonna love this. Well, part of why No Vaseline hit so hard is because, well, we knew Cube had inside information because he had been right there. His game not been right there.
Right there.
So the information
the
that
setup.
the information that he's disseminating deserves the same validity that we gave Ice Cube on No Vaseline, does it not?
It does. But again,
Okay.
we in this culture, and I don't want to say in
You can't
culture,
treat him
in
differently.
entertainment, we pick and choose based on the people that we like and don't like.
But part of the reason why we took No Vaseline so seriously is because, well, we was like, damn, like Cube was just down with them. Why would he say this unless it was true? And so if those same rules apply to Ice Cube on No Vaseline, they apply the game on this record because he was on the inside. That's why I told you that whole 8 Mile and not wanting to leave the studio and kick it on the block. I told you, Mike, you can't pull up the niggas' hoods and not take them to your hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. LP
Like,
with the super chat says
Okay.
Nick Cannon did the same ish and it was called corny.
You're right.
You're right.
Game is not game. It's definitely not game. Game is the way that you're explaining it to me now that I'm hearing it, and from having listened to the record, and I listened to it in two parts because it was so long. I'm like, no, I'm gonna listen to the first half. I'm gonna listen to the second half and make sure I take it all in.
Take
Like,
it all in
properly.
one. Yeah. Uncle Fran with the super chat says, now you see how good it is to go beyond the surface level. Excellent breakdown on the disc record. I appreciate the props, guys. I mean, it's just kind of hit the surface. I know we got a lot of show to go. Jay Short with the super chat says, M has no ammo. Blacklisting died with radio. This is true. I think that, again, people are relying on the fact that a bunch of trolls and bots are going to just continuously say this record is bad.
Hold on. No. So I'm going to go back, and many times, often I do on here, and I've told you this. Well, Dr. Dre is just at the center of too many problematic problems for black people with me sometimes. Because when you told me that he had executive produced 11 of Eminem's albums.
No, 9 out of the 11. And
I don't give a...
Yeah. I want to be accurate, you know.
No, I hear you. Like, so 9 out of 11?
And one of them is, let's just say 9 out of 10. Because I don't even want to count Infinite. You know what I mean? Because that's before they even met.
That doesn't count. Infinite is some bullshit. Infinite is a mixtape that really didn't exist. That's not a real album. Okay? He was an underground rapper. That's not a real album. I don't care what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame says. I don't care what SoundScan, Billboard, whoever the fuck is.
They retroactively made it his first album.
They can retroactively kiss my ass, is what they can do. But as far as that whole, like, he's executive produced 9 of Eminem's albums.
Nobody's got enough support.
Hold on. No, listen to what I'm about to say.
Snoop Dogg got 1, right? Or 2, maybe.
Listen to what I'm about to say. No. How many executive albums has he produced as a whole for artists that came out of Compton, California? I want you to give me the tally right now, because that's what I mean about, well, like, do you belong to us, really?
Reggie,
like, do you belong to your hood? Like, fuck that other shit. Like, leave Snoop out of it, because that's Long Beach. How many niggas from Compton has he produced?
I think he's executive produced just one of Snoop's albums. Now, let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. I
Snoop's
thought it
not
was just
from
Doggy Style.
Compton, Mike. I said, how many dudes from Compton has he
But no,
executive
I'm just
produced?
saying, even if you throw Snoop in the
Snoop's
mix,
from
it
Long
doesn't
Beach.
change. It doesn't change the numbers too much, even if you throw Snoop in the mix.
Right. It's like, oh, we
Let's
want to
just
bring
say
Southern
Cali.
California
Let's
in the
just say
mix.
Cali
Let's
altogether.
say right. Let's say Cali, right?
Yeah.
So we got what? We got Exhibit with Restless, right?
Yeah.
We got Doggy Style.
Yeah.
Is Dog Food attributed to him?
I don't know if he's executive producer on that. We can look that
Damn near
up.
shouldn't be because we all know that's Daz. So we got
Good Kid, Mad
Straight Outta
City.
Compton and Niggas for Life.
Are you going to count All Eyes on Me?
I'm not because Tupac doesn't.
Okay.
Because California Love was supposed to be for Dre's solo album, and that's the only contribution, and that's where the fallout started. Because Suge gave it to Pac. That's part of the fallout.
Yeah.
Suge was like, "Let's go on Pac's album. Pac's fresh out of jail. Ain't nobody like buying the Chronic right now. Everybody Pac's out of jail. Nigga, like let's go on Pac's album."
Yeah.
That was part of the fallout.
Got to go with the wave.
Got to go with the wave.
Let me get to some of these super chats, man. Reggie with the super chat says, have
We're
Timberland.
not going with Dre, Mike, because I've said this multiple times. Like, what you're saying about him and Game is solid, but I've been talking this shit about Dre and how I don't like it for a minute.
Reggie with the super chat says, have Timberland and Swiss become yes men? I mean, if you got to ask. Let's see.
I mean, I don't know about Timberland because we don't see him, but Swiss, I'm just going to say less. I'm going to say less.
Say less. Hold on. Let's get through these super chats because I know we got a whole nother album to get to. And Jay Short says, Cube called out. Jay Short says, Cube called out Dre on No Vaseline 30 years ago. This is facts. JD Diesel says, salute the mic. I've been saying this all day. I knew I wasn't bugging. Top tier diss record. I mean, you guys are making me think it might be an A+, but I'm not going to give it an A+ because I think that's No Vaseline level. I think that for a setup record, yes. But overall, I don't think that a baiting record could rank so high.
How about this? The Stillmatic diss over the Paid in Full beat, I thought was the best setup diss record ever. This now replaces that.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the perspective and the psychological tones of it.
Yeah, and then he took on that persona that M uses.
I want to get back to this Dr. Dre shit.
I know you do. What else is there to say? He produced.
So we got I just want to be clear. No, when you say stuff like this, people think you're crazy, and so you need to say it out loud so people understand. So we got Straight Outta Compton and Niggas for Life, right?
Yeah, he executive produced those, I believe.
I mean, if you want to count Doggy Style, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got Exhibit's Restless, right?
Right.
What else do we have other than that?
I guess you got Good Kid, Mad City,
documentary,
right?
The documentary would be 5?
Yep, and Good Kid, Mad City.
That's 6.
Yep. He's done 9.
And so the totality of your illustrious career, where we call you the greatest hip-hop producer ever, you only have 6 albums out of your hood, but you got 9 albums with him.
You didn't count the Chronic in 2001? But even if you do, he's still
fucking an album short.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But so Game started off. So Game started off his verse just talking about how, for whatever reason, Eminem was getting more of Dre's work and attention as an artist.
Well, he's right. Eminem just got from 1997 on
1999 on.
Sorry.
Even a shorter time period, yeah.
So when did Straight Outta Compton come out? 1988?
88, yeah.
So let's see, about 5 of those 8 albums that we're talking about happened before Eminem came along. And so pretty much what it looks like is that Eminem is the main thing that keeps him from working with his own.
That's what it appears to be.
Very problematic. No, I want you to understand this. Tell me how many executive albums he's produced for a West Coast hip-hop artist since Eminem's popped up. Like, forget Compton, just West Coast. Since Eminem popped up, it's the documentary and what else?
Because I was
because M bought him 50. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, so he did Get Rich or Die Trying, so that's kind of similar.
I said West Coast.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
New York. Yeah, so ever since that, I guess it's just documentary and Good Kid, Mad City.
So 2 albums in the 2000s, in the last 22 years.
But when it comes to M in the 2000s, we got 8 executive produced. Like, I was surprised to even see the Dr. Dre executive produced Music to Be Murdered By. That's crazy to me.
No, I saw that. I told you that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Doesn't
think you
sound
did
like
tell
it
me that.
though. See, that sounds like something they just do and kind of put down on paper now too. It's like, we're
Yeah.
gonna put this down. That is what that is.
Beats by Nobody says M needs to respond. Not Bizarre, not Royce, M. And I think the game covered that too. When he brought 50's name in it, he's like, you know, do you need him to help you? And then he covered all his bases. He brought up his butterfly tattoo. He brought up Change Your Heart. It's like, okay, cool. We're going to take this one off. You're not going to be able to use that. He gave Royce the props that I think Royce deserves. He said that Eminem's been copying Royce's style and getting famous off of it, right? He went ahead and gave Big Sean his props. So now all you got to use is, and honestly, if they fall into that trap where, let's just say 50 jumps in it with M, I don't think that's going to happen. That's too risky because 50's never just went straight at game. That's too risky because what will happen is
He'll body him.
if he bodies both of them, that is a bad look. So M, he fixed this whole thing where it's like you either come in here alone or both of y'all come in here and both of y'all catch it.
Hold on. So let's go ahead and speak to this. A prime 50 and a not prime game was more of a fair match than New York will ever admit. And listen to me when I'm saying this. Don't you ever think that the MC that the game has been the last 5 to 10 years is the MC that 50 is. 50 might be a better hit maker. The only MC skill that 50 has over game at this point is the ability to make a hit record. Literally every other box belongs to game when you check it off. If 50 steps into this, let me finish this.
Go ahead.
If 50 steps into this, he's going to get bodied.
Well, you know, it's funny. Somebody mentioned this earlier. Somebody mentioned this earlier in the chat.
He'll catch a whole body. He ain't built like this. No, game is nice now.
Yeah,
this is not fucking hate it or love it time. Like, nigga, you gonna get your feelings hurt.
Well, this is what I was gonna say.
Somebody not do that. Power working and all the podcasts and all that. You better stay over there and do that. Don't let them get you drug into this and get your ass drugged. Game is gonna
drag. Coop is turned up right now, guys. All right, this is what I was gonna say.
Then I said that if 50 got a problem with it, tell him I said so. Not a big fan of yours. Game will drag your ass right now, nigga. Don't let them gas you up. You will get drugged.
Well, somebody mentioned this earlier in the chat, and I would be remiss to not bring this up. Somehow, the demo for Games Higher got leaked. Maybe I think it was yesterday, and it's all 50. So yeah, that
you can tell. See what I'm saying?
That has been put out on the internet.
Do that right
Somehow
now.
that one leaked. But see, this is the thing. Game already put it out there. First album, he wasn't the MC he is now, and I think that when it comes to 50 and M, when it as it relates to Game, the only thing they got is stuff that's like 15 plus years old. This ain't the same guy.
It sounds like you're reaching. That's what I'm saying.
Same guy.
Hold on. When you have to drop a skeleton track off this man's first album when he's on album number 11, you're making all the points for everybody, including him. It's like, oh, you see how far? Because that's what I always tell you. It's like, look here. When you're debating somebody, going back works one of two ways. It either works really well or really bad. As in, look how far back I had to go to find your good shit, or look how far back I had to go to find your bad shit. Well, if I got to go that far back to find your bad shit, that means you're the shit.
And the one thing the Game has going for him, and it's a really big thing, he made it without the machine. He made it without the support of Dre, M, and 50. Actually, with 50 and G Unit going against him, without the support of Jimmy Iovine, and he's still here.
Mike, he made it without. Think about this. He went in a year's time from having the biggest push from the biggest hip hop money making machine in rap history in terms of numbers and sales.
Yep.
To not having them a year later, and he is literally here 2 decades later.
In 2022.
It's almost unheard of.
Beats by Nobody says, we're about to see if M is truly a rap god. I think we've seen that a long time ago that he's not. Like,
I think Mike is
I
trying
mean,
to
the
point to
fact that
that.
MGK was able to survive that, and it's even debatable for some people, even though I think MGK won, that gives you all you need to know right there. Now, I'm glad that he addressed also the fact that, M's music just don't get played anywhere like that. And I think even
He brought
Matthews,
that up too. I
yeah.
like that he brought that up
And
because
he
that's one
said,
of the things you've
your
been
stuff
bringing
don't
up.
get played in
Hey,
cars.
you want to know what? Hey, Mike, and this
Mhm.
is what I mean. I'm gonna give you some props. Well, I thought it was kind of funny how he had brought up a lot of things in his diss that I have personally heard come out of your mouth the last couple of years while we've
Because
been
they're
doing this podcast.
true.
No. But it also made me think it's like, yeah,
But
motherfuckers
again,
be watching according to Hip Hop Live. Yeah, they be watching according to Hip Hop Live. He's saying all the shit Mike be saying. I thought I was Mike when he was rapping. I thought it was you. I was like, it's like okay, so he watches the show.
well, I also like the fact that he framed himself as like Aftermath's runaway
He
slave.
made it a fan.
No,
He kind of did what Jay did from a perspective on the takeover. Is that he took a step back and made it a little psychological.
yeah,
Like I'm gonna tell you, the strongest point of the takeover for me was when he went one, let's say two. Two of them shits do.
yeah,
One was yeah. Other was when he did that, I was like,
yeah,
that's fan talk. I was like, motherfucker, son of a bitch. No great rapper talks like a fan.
yeah.
That's kind of how Game's talking on this. He's kind of like, I kind of like you, but since you want to be honest about it,
Yeah, I like one of your albums. He said one of them get played in my ride out of your 10. Now, I like the way he framed himself as Aftermath's runaway slave in the perspective of people keep bringing up when he was on Aftermath and he had Eminem in his top 5. He's letting people know, nah, I was Aftermath slave then. Now I'm free and I'm telling the truth.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing.
So, because people kept bringing up all that footage where he was like, man, don't mess with Eminem, man. Nobody can see Eminem. Yeah, that's when I was Aftermath slave. This is Aftermath's runaway slave, and now I'm going to give you the real.
Okay, so I brought up Shakespeare earlier, Mike. So I'm going to bring up Toni Morrison right quick. In 1972, she was the editor of this book called The Black Book, which told African slave stories in it. And from it, she found the story of Beloved. But the only reason she found the story of Beloved was because it went to trial because they got free to tell their story.
The game is free to tell his story.
Hold on. Listen, the character that plays Beloved was a real woman. If she would have slit those babies' throats on a plantation, we would never know that it fucking happened. But because she got free, Mike.
Yeah. He framed this perfectly, man.
Kind of like Toni Morrison does as opposed to Shakespeare. I totally feel you.
Ray Rams with the super chat says, which pair of anniversaries would be more subtle than Game versus Eminem to bring a versus back to form? Eminem doesn't want it with Game in a versus.
No. I don't even know. I told you, I don't even know if 50 wants it at this point. Game has had a whole career. 50 has not rapped in a very long time.
Ethan Hill with the super chat says, 50 said a long time ago when people diss Eminem, they push him into a space where he is most comfortable. 300 bars is light work for M. The diss is a no. Well, if that's the truth, let's see it. And see, that's the other part about this too.
We need evidence.
Yeah, we need evidence. And we need updated evidence.
He's got 48 hours, Mike.
We need updated evidence. See, this is the thing too. With a record like this, he puts M in a box where let's use the Benzino one for example, because he had 2 different diss records. Do you do the sauce approach or do you do the nail in the coffin approach? Do you try to go the comedic route or you want to try to go hardcore? Because if you try to go hardcore against Game, that's not going to work for you.
Comedy's not going to work with us. Not going to work. So he's in a tough spot.
He's in a tough spot.
I'm going to tell you where he really is. He's kind of in that spot that Meek was in.
Mm-hmm. Where you want to go?
It's like, where you going to go? And I'm going to tell you what. It's like, well, you don't have much time to respond either.
Yeah. You don't want to go to hardcore street route. You can't do that.
Hold on. Because you're the battle rapper and the MC, right?
Exactly.
I know you just ain't going to let him do you like that, right?
You're the guy that ends people's careers with rap battles, right?
right?
Nobody. It's
Hold
that
on,
whole
hold on.
notion.
You're hold
Nobody
on,
wants
hold
to
on.
with
No,
M,
no, no.
right?
Furthermore, hold on. You're the guy that faded Jay on Renegade. That's what they hold on to. Ain't that you?
Well, I think the game said something very potent that he said what Memphis Bleak said. He said he feels that Jay's part on Renegade aged better than M's. What was the
Mike,
actual quote
actually,
there?
I said that first. I told you that the double entendres and the way that he layered that verse
Yeah.
was just as good as the way M layered that verse. I told you that.
He
I've been
said he
saying that on an MC level. See, people people get caught up in the lights, cameras, action, glamour, glitters, and gold, Mike.
yeah. Mad Max with the super chat
They don't
says
know. They don't unfold the scrolls and stand.
Stampede the Globe.
Yeah,
Mad Max with the super chat says the skit
Stampede the
help.
gold.
He said the skit helps with it not feeling like it's a 10-minute long song. Honestly, sounds like it's a 2-verse song and then a skit leading into a diss, but it all connects. It does feel
Very
like that.
problematic is what
And
it
I
is.
think that little skit in the middle of the song is the bridge that brings this whole thing together. I think it's a brilliant piece of work. And for the people that are out there saying that he was praising him, I mean, you just don't get it, I guess. And I guess they didn't hear the lines about the fact that, his father, allegedly, and I'm going to just say this allegedly, and I did the research, but the numbers seem to line up. His father allegedly got, his mom pregnant at 15, and his father was like 22 years old. So I guess
Listen,
people didn't hear those lines. And also in the fact that
well, hold on,
when I heard that though, the first
that's a
place
little
my
personal.
mind went was
That's a little personal.
it is personal. I think
That's way personal.
to
Like when you
some
talk about
degree, it's very it's
that's
far.
statutory rape, Mike.
It's very far to some degree, but the first place my mind went was like, and you were giving this lady shit your whole career. That smoke could have went all around, as opposed to just being directed at her.
Well, I mean, if his father was 22 and his mom was 15, well, his father is a rapist, and that's where his vitriol needs to be directed.
Yeah, exactly. And it confused me why it was never directed there.
But here's what we do is we misplace
Our anger,
our tropes and our sacrifices and our anger and where it needs to go. And so it's like, well, if your mother had you at 15 and your father was 22, your issue needs to be with your sick ass daddy.
Yeah.
And not with your mama struggling to raise you in the circumstances that came from her dealing with a grown ass man when she was still an immature mind. Like my daughter is 15.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, if she props up pregnant at 15 by some chance, Lord forbid, with a 22-year-old man, Mike, you don't have to worry about according to hip hop. I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
Because he's a dead motherfucker.
I think everybody feels the same way.
On site. I'm like, no, you're what? Where's this nigga at?
Yeah.
Because that's how that shit's going down immediately. And then I will get up out this chair, I will walk upstairs and go, yeah. All that shit's happening live on camera. So he needs to address the shit where it goes. I mean, like I damn near been arrested on camera doing the show. Like I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like a 15-year-old should not be having sex with a 22-year-old. Period, point blank, under any circumstances or situations. So his anger is totally fundamentally and psychologically misplaced. It sounds like he needs therapy too.
LP with the super chat says, Mike Ghost wrote it. I got the reference tracks. LOL.
No, but it does sound like from the perspective that he's approaching, I can't front, Mike. You've been sitting up here for 2 years, and a lot of the information that got disseminated in this record.
I can't lie to you guys, man. I'm just
you said the truth. No, a lot of the stuff that's in this record you have said. And you have said live, and we know that Game watched this show by some of the comments that he has made.
He's even commented on some of our Instagrams.
Yeah. Everybody know who they're listening to. And you want to know what? And here's what I'm saying when I be saying, and I just want to sidebar right quick.
Mm-hmm.
The real reason that I want people to say our name was if the rhetoric isn't intelligent enough that, well, you want to beef with us or you want to take it and run with it, where our fan base can see that you're inspired by it. Well, any other time a rap publication has had that type of effect, the rappers have said their names. And for some reason, these people have the same problem with saying our name, but we got albums like Magic. We got the Lupe shit. We got the Eminem shit. We got the Griselda. Like a lot of this
shit. We're not part of the
People,
machine.
Mike, all these people talking this stove shit.
Yeah. We're not part of the machine, man. We need to get our Rock Nation tickets.
No. All I'm
Our
saying
brunch tickets, excuse me.
I mean, first of all, ain't nobody invite me to no brunch. I can't be trusted.
I want to go to the brunch. At first, I didn't want to go to the brunch.
You're way more trustworthy than I am because, like, I don't give a fuck who you are if you say some shit that I don't like to me. It's like that's where it happens.
Well, yeah, you can't go to the brunch.
That's right. That's why I'm not going to the brunch. It's like, oh, I don't like how you said what. It's like, well, nigga, nobody really fucking asked you, nigga. Right. That's exactly how those conversations go with me. Like every single time, it's like, well, I really didn't, but nobody asked you, nigga, because I don't know you. So, like, mind your business. But for you, you can definitely go. But all I'm saying is that like say our name if we pushing the culture forward and sticking to our guns. Because anytime people have done it before us and it appears that like a lot of people are tagging us as those people, it's like, well then like say our name.
Well, this is what I will say, and not to interrupt you.
If you say our name, I won't have these issues or these problems. It's when you don't say our name that I had these problems.
Well, this is what I will say. And when the Shade Room posted my top 25 Southern MCs list, they didn't tag According to Hip Hop or even say According to Hip Hop's name or anything, but when Vibe and all these other publications picked up on the list, they did. So I can only attribute that to the fans. I appreciate y'all probably going in there correcting that situation. But I'm sitting here like, well, if they grabbed the list and they didn't even put our names in it, and the reason why the list kind of circulated was because of their posts, how did these other people know where the list came from? Mysterious.
Hold on, but that's what I'm saying. Do you not think that those other people didn't pull up somebody within those frameworks?
Of course.
And hear what I had to say when I was like, oh, but they don't even want to add us or tag us. Because I guarantee you, Mike, that's why I said it. Because if I had not pulled up here and been like, fuck, they ain't add us, the rest of them wouldn't have added us. Right.
Let me get to these super chats.
I had to say something to get the ad. It's like we got to say something to get the ad. Y'all don't treat other people like that. And I told you when people from the Shade Room be down here, it's like, don't have me roll up on you. I treat you.
I do remember that episode when you said that. Ethan Hill with the super chat says.
Because the next day we popped up with a bunch of ads. It's like all of a sudden.
Well, they never tagged us.
Hip hop. It's like, oh, now you're adding us? It's like, oh, that's cute. We had to beg, though. It's like, I got to beg you to get an ad for some shit that the owner of Hip Hop created.
That you took. Yeah.
That you literally look here.
You know where you got it from.
Models, no, they're Instagram models with millions of followers that they at all the time. You understand?
Yeah. Remember me, the one you got your idea from. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Game lost a $7 million lawsuit and needs Eminem. See, there's more narratives, guys. Regardless of why, let's just say Game did clout chase, and let's be real. This song got a lot of people to listen to this album that might not have listened to it if this song didn't exist. So what, he clout chased. So what, he went out there and did whatever to get attention. Is Eminem going to respond? Because it's worthy of a response. I don't care why he did it.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Is a white rapper coming out of Detroit in the unsigned hype choosing Dr. Dre over everybody else clout chasing?
Let me ask you something else.
I'm just Let me ask you something else.
And I had this in my notes too. The great KRS-One, when he went at MC Shan, Mr. Magic, and the great Molly Mall, was he clout chasing when he made the bridge?
No, he was not.
No. When he does it, it's called hip hop, right? This is just hip hop. So deal with it. It's hip hop. Now you got to answer to this. Inspector said, to be that successful in hip hop and not get play in anyone's whip is amazing. Ooh. It ain't amazing.
Hold on, Mike. I got one for you. When Foxy's going at Kim on Bang Bang after the Quiet Storm remix, is she clout chasing?
No, it's hip hop, man. Whenever it's Eminem,
she on some rap shit on Bang Bang.
Yeah. And like you said, this is an insider. This ain't just some random MC coming out of God knows where.
Foxy's from Brooklyn.
Game has the same amount of albums
in him and about Big.
Right. Game got credentials, man.
Like you remember the verse to Bang Bang, Mike? It's like some of that shit was personal. It's like, oh no, she's from Brooklyn. She got inside information.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says Kendrick is the only Compton artist executive produced by Dre. Well, Game 2 with the documentary.
So we've got two NWA albums and two artists out of Compton solo albums, solo debut albums, and M literally has double the output plus another album.
Okay. It's incredible, right?
That's problematic. No, that's problematic because none of those 9 albums that he executive produced for Eminem, which apparently is greater than his hip hop output that we hold him in high regard for, has the greatest producer. We got to re-audit that greatest.
And you know what? These are.
I want to know who did the beats. No, I want to know who did the beats.
Well, this is what I wanted to go through.
Trying to audit. No, I keep telling you, Mike. People keep trying to audit M in this situation. M's not the one that belongs to this culture the way Dr. Dre does. So he deserves to be audited first.
Well, this is what I will say in regards to Dre. We talk about Dre being the greatest hip hop producer of all time. I know I say that all the time.
Way anymore, Mike.
But no, this is what. Let me finish real quick. This is what I was gonna say. With all these bad Eminem albums that he's executive produced, he don't get points taken off.
Hold on.
I mean, let's just be honest.
If Kanye
would have, hold on. Yep, I was gonna go there too. Yeah.
If the RZA had an artist from the Wu-Tang Clan, with 9 albums that he executive produced, and none of those albums was considered to be a top 25 hip hop album all time, we would have a problem.
I want to go another route.
We would have a problem.
I want to go another route. Let's just
I would have a problem. I'd be like, keep been producing this nigga for how long? He made 9 albums. We don't have no Liquid Swords or no Supreme Clientele, Purple Ticket. RZA is fucking up. RZA is fucking up. I'll be pulling up like RZA's fucking up.
Let's just say hypothetically.
RZA can't do it no more. Can't make this Capadonna album. He can make a Raekwon album and a Jizza and a Ghostface album. Can't make a Capadonna album. That's exactly what we would say.
Cool. Let's just say this, right? Let's just say Kanye and Common made beat. Let's just say Kanye executive produced 8 other albums, and them shits was duds. What would we be saying?
I'd be saying it's very problematic.
Mm-hmm. Beats by Nobody says the song exposed.
It's very problematic.
Beats by Nobody said the song exposed stands more than it does Eminem. I think it exposed a little bit of both.
Very problematic.
And a lot of this stuff is.
No for Eminem.
All right, let me go through some of the quote-unquote factual stuff, right? We already went through the executive producer thing, and
I want to go through the beat thing. You want to know? I'm glad that we're doing this Monday show, Mike. For everybody that doesn't know, I'm going to plug it again.
That song could really be broken down.
Starting on Monday, we're going to be on Patreon. It's going to be $9.99 a month for 4 extra shows. We're going to pull up every Monday. We're going to allow you guys to jump in and debate us. We're going to play live music. This is the shit that I want to talk about, Mike. Like right now at this point, because it's like there's so much. Like Dr. Dre has had so many co-executive producers. He's executive produced so many of Eminem's albums. He apparently has. Mike, how many beats did he do on Get Kid, Mad City? I know he did 5 beats on the documentary. I know he did 5 beats on Get Rich or Die Trying. Like. You understand the RZA did all the beats on Only Built for Cuban Links,
all
right?
Of them, yeah.
You understand that, like, he did all of the beats on Liquid Swords, right?
Yep.
Except for, I think, like, Bible, I think Fourth Disciple. Like, he did all the beats on Return to the 36 Chambers except for Brooklyn Zoo. And I think True Master co-produced one other song. Or it was Fourth Disciple that co-produced Snakes. Like, he did all the beats on Enter the Wu-Tang. He did all the beats on Tikal. He did all the beats on fucking Iron Man.
Yeah.
Finch is produced by True Master. Every other track is RZA. And so when we're saying he is the greatest producer of all time, it's just like, straight out of Compton niggas for life and part of in the Chronic and part of Doggy Style is not enough.
I feel like because
real talk, because this is what I mean about how I want to break it down. I want to hear the skeleton tracks to Doggy Style.
I do too.
Because Doggy Style to me is his best produced album. No, Doggy Style to me is the best produced album that ever came out of the West Coast. And like really, according to Snoop, it's like Daz did the beats. Dre did the executive production.
No,
so you're telling me that sound belongs to Daz and not Dr. Dre. What you're telling me is that the way that it sounds belongs to Dr. Dre, but you're telling me the sound belongs to Daz. Well, that changes everything, especially with you producing 9 Eminem albums and none of them are hip hop classics in the eyes of the populace.
Let's just say one is. That's still 1 out of 9.
Right, that's a 1 hot album every 10 album average.
DeCarlo with the super chat says Coop is ready to go listen to Death Row East now. Yes.
First of all, Death Row East is a classic.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I'll be damned if I do 50-50 split with 95% of the talent and credibility. But Won't split 50-50 with black artists. Dr. Dre is corny. Man, y'all are wild. This became a real discussion. KD says,
I
man,
want to hear the reference tracks to Doggy Style, don't you?
I do. I've always have.
Because the beats
KD,
to Doggy Style sound different than the Chronic too, Mike. I've never denied that.
yeah,
Like the Shiznit, does the Shiznit
that
and Gin
sounds
and
like
Juice?
gas, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah.
does the Shiznit and Gin and Juice sound like some shit Dr. Dre produced on the Chronic? Because it's like literally like
No, it
6 months.
doesn't.
It doesn't.
KD
Doggy
says,
Dog World? Does that sound like Dre? Just saying.
I don't know. KD says, man, Game was spitting ether when he told M that your mom didn't give up on her dreams and become a teen mom just so you could become a wigger in jeans. Yeah, that was a really tough bar, man. Cam Porter with the super chat says, the Game is the black Slim Shady because he name drops as much as Eminem as well. The Game destroyed M, by the way. I think that there needs to be a response. I don't think there is going to be a response because a lot of fans are giving Eminem an out where they're saying that the record isn't up to par. But I'm here to tell you, I rated this record an A, and I'm leaning towards an A plus.
No, Mike. I'm gonna give you your A plus actually. But here's what I want to discuss. It's like, so right now, we know for a fact that you did the beats on Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, No One Can Do It Better, and The Chronic. We're not certain about Doggy Style. You produced Phone Tap with Chris the Glove. You produced all of 2001 with Mailman and Elizondo. So where are the Dr. Dre tracks? Because I'm gonna tell you what. No, there are RZA tracks. There are Alchemist tracks. There are DJ Premier tracks that exceed that I just spoke of without any help.
Shit, Pete Rock too, man.
Pete Rock, Mike, maybe Q-Tip.
Yeah, not maybe. He got the low end theory.
It's got the whole low end theory.
He got the whole Midnight Marauders.
Here's what about the low end theory. The low end theory is like the East Coast Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like cancel those out.
And but even if you want to outtake that, you got songs like Award Tour. They're like some of the best songs ever made.
If the Chronic and low end theory cancel out, it's like, well, Q-Tip's got Midnight Marauders. It's like, well, you got Niggas for Life and Straight Outta Compton. It's like, well, give me Midnight Marauders over either one of those beat-wise and executive production-wise and song theme-wise and black culture-wise. Like, Mike, how many ways you want me to go down? And then I start looking at the DOC's album. It's like, the DOC's album is more important to his catalog than he can even realize, because there you go with your lyricists and your concepts and your themes and the beats matching, because we know, Mike, you and I know how horrible Niggas for Life is to listen to. Like, you don't play Niggas for Life for your daughter, and I don't play Niggas for Life for my daughter.
Nah.
There's a reason for that
Content
shit.
Content-wise.
When something for Niggas for Life comes on, I immediately skip the record when my daughter's in the car. It's like, there's no need for you to ever hear any of this or even know that it happened.
Sonically, it's incredible.
You need to know that Ice Cube made Death Certificate in America's Most Wanted, sweetie.
Yeah, sonically, it's incredible, but content-wise, is some of the worst content you're ever going to hear in a hip-hop record.
A bitch 17 times, raping her, and then throwing her out the car with my daughter in the car.
It's an awful record.
So, when these are the masterpieces that he's executive produced, how much has he really contributed to our culture? Like, think about this. You can play the low-end theory for your mother and for your daughter, and so can I. We can't play Niggas for Life for either.
No, you're right. LP with the super chat says, the Game had M in his top 5 last year on Twitter, shaking my head. He woke up. We could change our minds. Coop had Andre 3000 in his top whatever last year. And he received evidence. When we started the show, I didn't just have him in my top 5 all time, Mike. I had him about 3 or 4. And you were like, that's crazy. And I'm like, no, nigga, you're crazy. And you're like, Coop, where are the songs? And that's when I was like, you mean the Outkast songs? You mean the Love Below? And you were like, where are the rap songs with 3 verses and a hook, Coop? And that's when I was like, yeah, it's unfair to everybody.
That's when my heart started breaking on the inside, but you couldn't see it live. But like everything inside was getting crushed. Like my whole childhood was getting destroyed when you were saying that. And like, step the fuck on. But like, I accepted that shit like a man. And today I can pull up and be like, no, that nigga's not even top 25. he can't make Incarcerated Scarfaces or Quiet Storm or Dead Presidents or The World Is Yours. Matter of fact, we don't even know if he can do like a Brooklyn's Finest outside of Benz or a Beamer. It's like there's
We
a
don't
lot of
even
shit
know
we
if he
don't
can
know.
make a Bonita Apple Bomb. You know what I mean? Like, we
We don't
don't
know
know.
if he can make A Good Day by Ice Cube.
We don't know.
We don't know if he can make a Never Seen a Man Die. Right.
It's like, you know, it's
We
like
don't know.
when
It's never
guys
happened.
just
We have no evidence.
No.
So there's been a murder, but we can't find who committed the crime.
It's like us giving a batting average for somebody who's never stepped up to the plate. It's
No.
an NA. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Right. It's like, no, you want to know what it is? It's like the Negro League guys that never got counted damn near. It's like, no. I heard that he hit 340 and had 70 home runs and batted in 104. It's like, no. I hear that, like, you heard that he did it. It's just that we really don't have any, evidence.
Well, that's different because we know it happened. This never happened.
No. Him being this great happened. The evidence didn't happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how about this? I can remember when Ken Griffey was like young, and people were like, well, he's going to be the greatest baseball player of all time. And it's like, well, yeah, based on what you're seeing right now,
Right.
yeah.
You got to finish.
You got to finish the job. It's like if I was ranking Griffey all time, he'd probably be like 17. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very generous, to be honest.
Miguel Cabrera is better than Ken Griffey Jr. than me. Albert Pujols is better than Ken Griffey Jr. than me. Mike Trout.
That hurts my heart, but you're right.
Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. You feel what I'm saying?
That hurts my heart, but you're right.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Reggie with the super chat
Tony
says,
Gwynn's better than Ken Griffey, Mike.
Who?
Tony Gwynn's better than Ken Griffey.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Ken Griffey more, but he is.
I like Ken Griffey more than all those guys except Bonds. Tony Gwynn's the greatest hitter that ever lived.
Ever. Reggie with the super chat says, M now knows how Royce felt. Facts. Ooh, you're right. Royce took a L, and now we're on the brink. And I think like you alluded to this last episode. Royce can't really jump into this with the Lupe thing out there.
He better not.
It's like you got a balance out there.
He better not get involved with this. It's like, no. You better go handle your business first.
007 with the super chat says.
No. That business is sitting out there.
Right.
It's hanging out there. Because all this shit that I was talking about Lupe, and it's like, you love Royce though, nigga. It's like, I'm still getting burnt by choosing him. Like, the people on Twitter ain't no joke, Mike. They're like, oh, that you choosing Royce, nigga. I'm like, oh, he still ain't made no record. One dude tagged me. I told you one dude tagged me, Mike, and was being petty. I was like, why are you tagging Royce? I was like, are you being petty, messy, or both? And he literally hit me back, and he was like, you know what happened, right? Everyone when niggas knows. Is talking like that, like, no, like, Mike, that's the type of shit of why I can't go outside, because if you say that to me live, we got a box.
Oh, my God. 007 with
you know what happened,
chat.
Right? Yeah, I know what about to happen right now.
Renegade, honestly, over time is a dope record, and case may be made for both initially. I had J over M, but looking at the magnitude of the mic performance and what M is actually saying, it actually hits. So I got to be honest. I always thought M had the better part on Renegade, to be honest, but I'm not a big fan of the record. I think Jay was chasing
M has
the beat.
The better part, but it's not by much.
People I think that you're listening to the literary devices. I think a lot of people are listening to stylistically and who sounds comfortable on the record and who doesn't.
I think there's that too. M had the record because the record is originally with Royce and supposed to be on Royce's album. Okay? Right. That's not even an Eminem record. That's actually a Royce. If you really want to retrace Renegade, Eminem made that beat for Royce to go on Royce's album. That was supposed to be the Royce M collaboration on Royce's album that was going to propel Royce. I don't know what happened with that on that side. Part of why M sounds so comfortable on there is because, well, he made it with his partner in rhyme for his partner in rhyme's album. Royce actually sounds better than M on the original version.
And, M produced the song, and there's a level of comfortability.
No, he made it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He actually, he made that beat, when you hear how Royce comes off on the beat, you can tell that M actually made the beat for Royce to be comfortable. Royce and Jay stylistically are out of this world. And so stylistically, when I'm talking about what Jay did, I'm also talking about the degree of difficulty. That beat was made for Royce by M. Jay was able to adopt it and make it palatable to the point that it's even a conversation. Yeah. Now, lyrically speaking, Eminem is better than Jay on the record. But Jay's whole point, because Jay knew all these things, was to make it fit and make it work. And so here's what I'll tell you. It's like that beat is like when Kevin Durant showed up to Golden State. It's like, well, Jay is so great that you can just insert him into anything at that point in his career and it's going to work. That's who Jay is at that point. He's KD when KD went to the Warriors. It's like, well, this was already Royce and M's thing. It's like, well, that's Jay.
He's like,
so
if Jay.
You just plug Jay in anywhere, it works. The same way if you plug KD anywhere, it works. The same way you plug LeBron in anywhere, what it do? It works. That's what happens when you are one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in some people's opinion, of all time.
In his prime.
I look at Renegade as a mark of Jay's greatness and not as M's mark of greatness. So every time people say that, I'm like, no, that's a nod for Jay, and that's just like literally a scratch for M. It's like M did what he was supposed to do. Jay did one of those things. It's like Kevin Durant is winning 4 scoring titles in 7 years, and then he goes to OKC, and he literally, listen to this, he averages 2 less points over 3 years, and he is playing with 2 other guys averaging around the same amount of points that he is. It's like, well, how do you do that? It's like, well, you're fucking brilliant and you're great. You always find a way to get the buckets that you need to get to keep your average kind of comparable. So even though his scoring average is 27 points a game, his scoring average at Golden State was about 26, Mike. He literally averaged a point less. He was playing with Steph and Clay, and he only averaged a point less. Well, he's KD. Jay is Jay. You can put M on the record. You can put Nas on the record. You can put Rakim on the record. You can put M on the record. Guess what? Jay is going to be Jay. That's what makes Renegade special, is that Jay is Jay in any circumstances in his prime. It's one of his better moments.
Let me get to these super chats so we can get to this Black Thought album.
It's one of the more highlighting things that I have to say about Jay in that time, because on the early part of the album, he is ruining my favorite rapper's career.
Born King with the super chat says, Magic is dedicated to Mr. Magic. Get over yourselves. You're right. It was just a coincidence that I said the Hit Boy and Nas got Magic. I said that. Mm-hmm. Who knows? Yeah. Things happen.
It's funny how Mr. Magic's not referenced at all during the whole album. Okay, go ahead.
Ray Realms with the super chat says, it's painfully obvious that there is a mole in the chat looking for ways to synthesize what you guys are doing organically. Check out my last super chat.
No. Let me tell you guys what.
Hold up.
We got many moles in the chat. We got people from all sorts of media entities that know that we're the pulse, that like to steal our pulse from us. Just understand, I better not ever see you in person. Mike's going to be nice to you. I don't roll that way. If there's a flight of steps and the doors are closed and it's you and me alone in it.
No. Miss LB says, M clout chases also. Name dropping all those pop stars in his song.
Down the steps. So be careful how you not add us at the shade room while y'all be in there chilling in the same spots I'm chilling in. Don't let Coop catch you in the elevator. It's going to be worse than Solange.
But yes, she's right. He clout chases too, but again, people like to pick and choose when they're saying somebody's clout chasing. KD says the irony of M's fans calling Game a clout chaser when M made a career going at different celebrities unprovoked and still does it today. And yes, and that's exactly why he named this the Black Slim Shady, so people couldn't frame it in that way. So now it's like, okay, so you're putting that on me, the Black Slim Shady, but the white Slim Shady doesn't get that treatment, right?
You mean the real Slim Shady?
The real.
Because I'm the real Shady.
You're right.
So will the real Slim Shady what? Please stand up.
Please stand up. LP says respectfully, this ugly talk, y'all avoid and hate when personal stuff comes up, but y'all talk about abusive pop. Game lost a lawsuit, but it's a narrative. I'm sorry, but it's narrative, but let's talk about who M should be mad at. The narrative is let's talk about who M should be mad at. Cam Porter says, I've never thought that Dr. Dre was the GOAT producer. He wouldn't even be able to play an M record in a versus. RZA versus RZA, Primo, Dilla, better than Drake, in my opinion. Dre. Why, fellas?
First of all,
Um,
niggas do be stealing from us, and I'm gonna approach them. I told you, I feel they be having me feeling like Ghost Man on the purple tape. It's like niggas bit nah shit.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says Dre has no beats on any Kendrick Lamar albums. He executive produced Good Kid, Mad City, and yeah, I don't think he produced anything. I can't think of anything.
Not one Dr. Dre beat has hit Kendrick Lamar's desk that we have heard for mass consumption to this day. I told you that's the Trump card, Mike. I told you. In case of emergency, break glass. Guess when Kendrick should break the glass? Right now.
He can't do
right
anything
now.
for him.
Whack ass album. So I don't care how many times Game references Kendrick's album on his dope album. The album's still not good. Call Dr. Dre. How about this? This would be a great time for Dr. Dre and Kendrick to cement themselves collectively. Because what I want to start doing on our Patreon show is I want to start having the producer debate about the beats. Because a lot of Dr. Dre's best beats, it does have co-production credits. That shit's not like that with the RZA. When RZA does Long Kiss Goodnight for Biggie, it don't say RZA produced by Fourth Disciple.
I mean, we can say the same thing for, like I said, Premier, Pete Rock, none of those guys. Ethan Hill with the super chat says Mike Dean does Kanye's music. Stop it. Well, we've seen
Kanye. Nobody asked you that. We wasn't even talking about Kanye.
We've seen. So, is Mike Dean on B?
Did nobody ask you that though? And Mike Dean ain't on fucking Daytona or B or the
Blueprint. Is Mike?
How about that? How about this? Kanye's 3 best executive production works. Guess where Mike Dean isn't? On them motherfuckers. This is what I'm talking about. You see how people trying to slide shit in?
Y'all like Mike Dean made Heart of the City or something.
Is he on the Blueprint B or Daytona? Next.
Right. Yeah, Mike Dean didn't make Heart of the City.
How about this? Whoever said that, you bring your ass here on Mondays. You bring your ass here on Mondays and talk that shit so we can play the music.
Hassan Sykes with the super chat says,
I want Leroy. I want Dumb It Down. I want Nas to go. I want you. I'm the greatest. I will rope a dope you. All right?
Cool, but I got to get through these super chats.
You don't want no smoke with me, Leroy. Uncle Fram, you don't want none too. That goes for all of yous. I'm the greatest. I feel like I am the greatest. Nobody breaks it down like you don't want none. If you pull up on Monday, you're going to get some. We're going to pull up the voices, the songs, the literary devices. You niggas is whack.
I got to get through these super chats, Coop.
Okay, sorry.
Hassan Sykes says,
Patreon.
I can't believe that I'm about to spend money on this, but the game's this is trash. Y'all are gassing. All cap. Like I said in the beginning of my diatribe, you think it's trash because it sounds like Eminem's music.
Mike, you want to know what? At least Lupe's not here to call your diatribe racist like he did mine.
Melvin Wright says, I've always had an issue with the claims of Daz producing Doggy Style. Maybe Doggy Dog World baseline only. Niggas for Life was the start of the sound for Dre.
Does the shit not sounds like Daz? That
sounds
like
let me finish the super chat. Let me finish the super chat. Niggas for Life. Cool. Niggas for Life was the start of that sound for Dre. Nothing else Daz has made sounds anywhere close. Now, I do think that Niggas for Life is kind of like the precursor for the Chronic, but maybe not Doggy Style. Now, Niggas for Life definitely sounds like Chronic before the Chronic. Jay Short says, if you two are Eminem, how would you respond?
You better respond in kind with another dope diss record. What do you mean? How you respond?
Now I think he means stylistically. I'm responding in the sauce type of way.
The beautiful thing about being an artist is that you have a canvas that you can paint on.
Mm-hmm.
And however you paint is however you paint. I mean, it can be impressionistic, it can be abstract. It can, you can go cubic like Picasso. Like there's ways that you can go, but you want to know what it needs to be. It needs to be dope.
Yeah. Bottom line.
Yeah, it don't matter what you do.
I think it needs to be vicious.
It's like I told you, Mike. I was in the Louvre and I was like, well, all these paintings are dope, but they all look kind of like the same. And then I went to the Orsay and I was like, oh, they got style in here. There's different types of styles and like. I was like, oh, no. I was like, people are going to the Louvre to see Mona Lisa. If you want to see some style, you want to see some bars, go to the Orsay. You go right up the block. You can stay in the same parking deck. It costs you 21 euros to park there for 6 hours. I know.
Well, let me say this, man. I think that M should go vicious, and I think he should go over the top because you know what? He gets licenses that other artists don't get. He can go over the top. We've seen it in his career. Nobody complains about any of the other things that he's ever said in his career. So I think he should just push the envelope because he can do it.
He actually can't do that anymore, Mike, because if he goes too far, we're going to pull up and be like, well, you really don't have that type of license to do that.
Andre Shashir with the super chat says, Roy said he feels bad for calling Lupe a B, but I think that's only because he got smashed.
I told you. What did I text you when he said that? I was like, I don't like that at all.
Well, Jay Short with the super chat says, don't let M fans trick you. We're on this diss. Jermaine Young says, Mr. Magic is sample at the start of the dedication. Yes. Billy Barr says, Coop, let me find out you are 36 in a karate class. Born King says, Mr. Magic's pick is on the back of the album. Yes, it is.
Hold on. Can he stop for a second?
We got to get through these super chats.
No. Literally, one of the women that I work with, her son and my daughter are the same ages, and they're in a martial arts karate class up the street. And I want to teach Asaya some self-defense before she goes off to college. And so I am thinking about putting my 40-year-old ass in a karate class just to do it with my kid. So yes, might be 40 in a karate class. But like all things I do when I'm here, I'm going to own the shit while I do it, if I do it. But definitely my daughter. Self-defense. Keep her away from you fuck-ass niggas. All right.
The L Web 100 says, I've been saying this for years, that Dr. Dre is overrated. He's like the kid in school who copied your homework and gets all the credit for it.
Wow,
you fans have a lot.
That's pretty vicious.
It is. Nas the Goat says, Coop.
How much did he pay to say that? That's vicious.
Nas the Goat said, Coop, I want all the smoke Monday. LP
no, you
says,
don't. Pull up on Mike, they're going to be able to interact.
Why y'all get him started, man? We got to get through
this. Be able to interact on Monday?
We should be able to. LP says, Dre has more albums with solo produced credits than Ye. That's something that we can test out. Okay, overall, I mean...
No, hold on. What albums are they talking about?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is what I mean. It's like, okay, so understand this. It's like, on Get Rich or Die Trying and on the documentary, he did the same amount of production credits on those two albums combined as like Ye did on B or Finding Forever. And it's like, so when you're saying that, that's what I mean about how we're going to have to pull up live on the Patreon show on Monday and start auditing some of this live because people's like, oh, well, he produced this, produced that. It's like, no. We need to play the 5 tracks that he actually produced off the documentary. We need to play the 5 tracks that he produced on Get Rich or Die Trying. We need to play them up against B. Mike, I'm going to tell you something because I know this already because I put them together. B's going to win.
I'm gonna say this before we move.
The stuff that he did on Get Rich or Die Trying and on the documentary, it's like it's great stuff. It's not the.
It was great for the times. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this before we go on to the Black Thought album because again, man, we 3 hours in and we ain't even got the Black Thought. I think that what we need to listen to this record for is the fact that it is a setup record and it is the ultimate baiting record to get you to come outside. Am I saying that this is Ether? No. I'm saying that this is the one that is getting Slim Shady outside and then you're going to get that record. Supposedly. And I don't think Eminem's even going to respond, to be perfectly honest with you. And see, what's happening is the way people are trying to frame this record, if M doesn't respond, then they're going to justify it by saying that the record wasn't strong enough. And I'm here to tell you, this record is plenty strong. So.
No, I think the way that we've kind of like broken it down is kind of like giving it reason to be held in that regard. But I just kind of wanted to see something right quick. Okay, so Dr. Dre, first of all.
Oh my God, we're back on him.
No.
It's a whole separate show.
No, because I just pulled up Get Rich or Die Trying's production credits. In the club, first of all, it's not just Dre, Elizondo.
Yep.
Right there.
Shout out to
like
Elizondo.
I told you. Right. He is Dr. Dre by himself. If I can't, Dr. Dre, Elizondo. Back Down, the Ja Rule disc, that's Dre.
Okay.
Mike, that's it.
That's it? Mm-hmm.
That's a contribution to Get Rich or Die Trying. Are you sure he's the greatest producer of all time? You want me to pull up? That's why I was like, no, we about to go live. We about to go live.